During the Southern Song dynasty, by the bustling and beautiful West Lake in Hangzhou, lived a young and kind pharmacy apprentice named Su Xian. During the Qingming festival, fine rain drizzled, and Su Xian came to the broken bridge alone to pay respects to his deceased relatives. It was amidst this misty rain that he chanced upon two stunningly beautiful women. One was dressed in a plain white dress, her face pure and refined, like a fairy maiden who had stepped out of a painting. Every gesture she made carried an elegant and noble air. She introduced herself as Baisuzhen. The other was dressed in a green silk gown, petite and lively, with a bright and intelligent look in her eyes. She was Baisuzhen's attendant, named Xiaoqing. Baisuzhen and Xiaoqing also said they were visiting West Lake and had met Su Xian by chance. The picturesque scenery of West Lake, the lingering tenderness of the drizzle, and Baisuzhen's gentle and quiet demeanor deeply attracted Su Xian. Xiaoqing's lively teasing from the side added a touch of light-hearted and joyful atmosphere. Perhaps it was the tender and watery charm of West Lake that nourished their hearts, perhaps it was a predestined from a previous life that brought them together in this one. Su Xian and Baisuzhen fell in love at first sight. After several encounters and conversations by the lake, their feelings quickly grew, and they soon pledged their love for life. Not long after, Su Xian and Baisuzhen left West Lake and rented an elegant residence in the lively city of Hangzhou, officially becoming husband and wife. Their married life was happy and fulfilling. Baisuzhen was gentle and virtuous, managing the household affairs with great care and attending to Su Xian's daily life meticulously. To enable Su Xian to establish himself, Baisuzhen suggested that he open a pharmacy. Relying on some special knowledge and insights, she helped Su Xian select medicinal herbs and prepare prescriptions. Surprisingly, Su Xian's pharmacy business thrived exceptionally well, with his remedies proving effective. He quickly gained a reputation in Hangzhou, and their lives became increasingly prosperous. Xiaoqing often helped out in the pharmacy as well. Although she could be a little capricious at times, she was fiercely loyal to Baisuzhen and sincerely hoped for their happiness. However, this seemingly peaceful and beautiful life, like a flower in a mirror or the moon's reflection in water, was fraught with unknown dangers. It turned out that Baisuzhen and Xiaoqing were not ordinary humans, but snake demons who had cultivated for thousands of years. Baisuzhen was a beautiful white snake spirit, and Xiaoqing was a lively green snake spirit. Their reason for coming to the human world was to repay a life-saving kindness from Su Xian, who was a young cowherd at the time, in their previous lives. Back then, the white snake had been captured by a snake catcher, and it was the compassionate young cowherd Su Xian who secretly released her. To repay this kindness, Baisuzhen underwent thousands of years of cultivation, finally transforming into human form and bringing Xiaoqing to the human world to find her benefactor and settle this past debt. They carefully concealed their demonic aura in the human world, diligently learning human ways of life, hoping only to stay with Su Xian and live an ordinary, happy life. However, the paths of humans and demons are different, and the laws of heaven are difficult to defy. In Jinshan Temple lived a highly respected and powerful Buddhist monk named Fahai. Fahai traveled far and wide, taking it as his duty to subdue demons and uphold righteousness in the human world. When he came to Hangzhou, he keenly sensed a pervasive demonic aura around West Lake. After careful investigation, he discovered that the source of this aura was the two beautiful women in Su Xian's home. Fahai had piercing insight and immediately recognized Baisuzhen and Xiaoqing's true forms. He believed that love between humans and demons went against the natural order and would inevitably bring disaster to the human world. Therefore, he repeatedly observed Su Xian in secret, wanting to find an opportunity to awaken him and make him stay away from the demonic beings. During the Dragon Boat Festival, every household in Hangzhou hung calamus and mugwort and drank realgar wine to ward off evil spirits and prevent epidemics. Fahai came up with a plan. He found Su Xian, feigning concern for his health, and persuaded him to go home and drink realgar wine as well. Baisuzhen knew very well that realgar wine would reveal her true form, but in order not to arouse Su Xian's suspicion, she could only force herself to drink a few sips. Unexpectedly, after drinking a few mouthfuls of realgar wine, Baisuzhen felt dizzy and could hardly maintain her human form, finally revealing her enormous white snake form in front of Su Xian. Su Xian was terrified and fainted on the spot. Seeing this, Xiaoqing was extremely anxious and quickly helped Bai Sujian return to her human form and fed Su Xian the antidote. Although Su Xian woke up, the sight of the snake form he had witnessed had left a deep fear and shadow in his heart. He began to doubt and become estranged from his gentle and virtuous wife. After learning about Bai Sujian's transformation, Fahai believed that the time was ripe. He went to Su Xian's pharmacy and earnestly persuaded him to break off his relationship with Bai Sujian, even resorting to alarmist talk, accusing Bai Sujian of being a demon who would harm his life. Su Xian was already suspicious, and with Fahai's constant instigation, his heart began to waver. To completely separate the couple, Fahai devised a plan to trick Su Xian into going to Jinshan Temple and forcibly detained him there, preventing him from returning home. Fahai claimed that only by keeping Su Xian in the temple could he ensure his safety. Upon learning that Su Xian had been imprisoned by Fahai, Bai Sujian was heartbroken. She and Xiaoqing were frantic, running around and trying every possible way to rescue Su Xian. However, Jinshan Temple was strategically located on a dangerous terrain, heavily guarded, and Fahai possessed great magical power, making it impossible for them to get close. In desperation, Bai Sujian made a shocking decision. To save her husband, she did not hesitate to use her millennia of cultivation, drawing a monstrous flood from the Qiantang River, intending to submerge Jinshan Temple and force Fahai to release Su Xian. The water of West Lake surged backward, and the river water roared and surged like thousands of horses galloping, instantly surrounding Jinshan Temple. The monks in the temple were terrified and scattered in all directions. Bai Sujian stood in the raging torrent, her face pale, her magical power rapidly depleting, but her eyes were filled with determination and resolve. For the sake of love, she was willing to defy the laws of heaven. Xiaoqing also wielded the precious sword in her hand, helping Bai Sujian fight against Fahai and the monks in the temple. In an instant, Jinshan Temple became a vast expanse of water, the water and sky merging into one. This earth-shattering battle between humans and demons shocked the entire city of Hangzhou, and countless people witnessed this spectacle. However, Fahai was, after all, a highly accomplished monk with profound magical power. Holding his Buddhist staff and chanting incantations, he engaged in a fierce battle with Bai Sujian. Although the flood was fierce, it could not shake the foundation of Jinshan Temple. Moreover, Bai Sujian was pregnant, and her magical power gradually weakened. Finally, Fahai seized an opportunity and unleashed his demon-subduing alms bowl. Its powerful magic sucked Bai Sujian into the bowl and then suppressed her under the Leifeng Pagoda by West Lake. A loving couple was thus forcibly separated. Xiaoqing watched helplessly as Bai Sujian was suppressed, filled with grief and indignation, but powerless to change the situation. With tears in her eyes, she vowed to cultivate her magic diligently and avenge Bai Sujian in the future. Afterward, Xiaoqing left Hangzhou alone and embarked on a long journey of cultivation. Su Xian witnessed all of this in Jinshan Temple, his heart filled with endless guilt and pain. He regretted listening to Fahai's slander and betraying Bai Sujian's deep affection. Utterly despondent, he chose to become a monk, staying in Jinshan Temple to accompany Bai Sujian, who was suppressed under Leifeng Pagoda, chanting scriptures and repenting day and night, praying for the Buddha's forgiveness for his mistakes. After a long passage of time, the Leifeng Pagoda unexpectedly collapsed in an accident. Bai Sujian was freed and reunited with Su Xian, who had been diligently practicing Buddhism in the temple for many years. Although they had endured immense suffering, their true love finally moved the heavens, allowing them to be reunited. Xiaoqing also achieved significant progress in her cultivation and came to offer her congratulations, and the family was able to be together again. Regardless of the ending, the tale of the white snake, with its twists and turns, vivid characters, and its praise of sincere love and criticism of feudal ethics, has been widely circulated among the Chinese people, becoming a deeply moving classic legend. It tells us that the power of true love can transcend the boundaries of life and death, and it also provokes profound reflections on human nature and emotions.